Oh, look at this little puppy with the cone. Puppy with the cone. Hi. Say hello to YouTube. Draco just got spayed, or she got spayed a week ago. Which is why she has the cone on, if you guys are curious. Anyways, hello everybody, welcome back. Happy Friday. So on Fridays on my channel, if you guys are new, we take a break from the recipes and we do lifestyle videos, or basically anything. So we have a bit of fun and we step away from the kitchen. So today I'm going to be telling you guys about some paranormal experiences that I've had. So all of a sudden I'm like terrified that something's going to happen when I film. If you guys have been around for a while, you might remember my story time of when a ghost pulled my hair, which still scares the crap out of me. But if you haven't seen it yet, I'll link it in the cards right here. It happened when I was living in Australia. I went to Q Station in Manly in Australia near Sydney, and it's terrifying. So if you guys want to watch that, definitely click over there and have a look. But there have definitely been a lot of experiences outside of Australia that I've had, and it's been has it been like 2 years since I've made my last video, and I thought it'd be really fun to talk about these again with you guys. So I've always been very curious about the supernatural and that world, and I feel like when you are curious to it, you're a little bit more open to it, and then things can happen. In the last couple of years, I've been terrified since the thing in Australia happened, so I've kind of like tried to shut off because it was really scary. But that definitely hasn't stopped everything from happening. So I am just going to go, I guess, so I'm going to go in like a timeline like fashion, because things have happened when I was younger as well. So I think the first like significant, if you can hear stuff outside, I left the window open. I stupidly left my window open, so sorry about that. But I think things started happening for me. I mean, like, I was always scared as a child, when, not like generally, but in the basement of my house. I live in Toronto, if you guys are curious. And we used to live across from a cemetery, which I didn't even like realize, but I was always scared about going down into the basement. It always gave me like a creepy feeling, but nothing actually ended up happening in that house. But we also have a cottage, and in that cottage we stupidly did a seance. Me and a bunch of my younger friends, I think when I was around grade 5 or grade 6 or something like that. And so me, my mom, and a bunch of friends, we all got together in the guest room of that cottage and we did a seance. And what I have learned now is that if you do a seance, you always have to end it or like close it. So if you're going to be opening up a like portal or whatever it's called, I don't know the correct terms, you always need to close it. If you don't close it, whatever you summoned or encouraged to, whatever you summoned or welcomed into your house might stay there. And I'm kind of wondering if that was the case, because that seems to be the beginning of whatever happened. We've since knocked down that cottage and built a new one over top, which can also trigger some spiritual activity. So I don't actually have any memories of anything else happening at the old cottage. But the new one that's being built directly over top, that one scares the crap out of me. I hate going to my cottage. It's, oh god, like sleeping there at night is something that I just have to like get through every single time. It's been like that since I think the beginning. Oddly enough, my bedroom is right on top of where the guest room previously was, which is where we did the seance. And that whole side of the house, that is where that seance happened, my mom will agree with me, we talked about this recently. When you're in that side of the house, it's just, you feel like complete like horror and just so uncomfortable, like your back, it's just like the worst feeling over your shoulders, like someone is right behind you and just does not have good intentions for you. The whole side of the house, even in the basement, the basement of that side of the house feels so much worse than like the other side of the basement, which feels completely fine. And whenever I'm sleeping there at night, I either keep the night light on or keep like my little like side table light on, because I can't bear to turn it off. Or once I'm in bed and the lights are off, I will not open my eyes, because I can always feel something around me, and it is the most awful feeling. I mean, my dogs have stayed there and they haven't growled at anything in the middle of the night, thank God. But I can always hear something like in the vents. It always sounds like a squirrel, but I mean, I only ever hear that at night. I only ever hear that when I'm in my bed and everything is completely quiet. It's like scratching noises. I don't know what it is. I'm hoping it's a bat or a squirrel or something in the vents. That's what I keep telling myself. That's what my parents keep telling me. But it scares the crap out of me every single time I'm in my cottage. It's awful. I hate sleeping there. And so those feelings aren't the only things, unfortunately, that have happened at that cottage. When I was younger, my cousin and I, we were like best friends when we were younger, and we were always like hanging around and playing at my cottage. And there was one evening we were walking up the stairs, which are actually directly next to my bedroom, because my bedroom is on the second floor of my cottage. And we were walking up the stairs, and we both, out of the corner of our eyes, saw a dark figure Treacle agrees, in the doorway of my bedroom. And I didn't even turn to look or like to confirm that it was there. I just like took off running to the other side of my cottage, and it scared the life out of me. To this day, nothing else like that has happened since, but there was definitely a shadow in the corner of my eye. And I mean, that being said, I know that your eyes can play tricks on you, so I'm not saying that it was absolutely something that happened, but it definitely felt real in the moment. And continuing along with things that have happened in my room, because the experiences that I've had at my cottage have only ever happened in my room. God. One evening I was sitting at my little like vanity, and I was brushing my hair, and I definitely felt something like brushed against my hair. That was not my hairbrush. I don't know what it was. I turned around right away, and I didn't see anything, but a lot of times actually when I brush my hair, I can feel something else brushing up against my hair that isn't on the side of where my hairbrush is, so that is super scary. Another time when I was just waking up, I was still in high school, I think in the younger high school kind of area, like maybe like grade 8 or something. I woke up in the morning, and I kind of just like half opened my eyes, and I saw my mom sitting on the edge of my bed, and I'm like, okay, like she's there, she's just like checking in on me or something. But I closed my eyes, I'm like, whatever. And then I was like, no, I should just get up. So I opened my eyes again. Didn't fall back asleep or anything. It was like probably like a couple seconds in between me opening my eyes and then closing them. And so I opened my eyes again, and she was gone, and I was totally expecting her to be there. I mean, like I totally felt her presence there, and she was gone. I'm like, what? I'm like, did I dream that? And I mean, there's maybe a chance that I dreamt it, or I had expected her to be there when I opened my eyes, so I saw her there. I don't know. I'm very skeptical, so I'm not going to say anything is for certain, because things can definitely play tricks on you, your eyes and your brain, everything like that. But it was definitely very, very weird. And later on I was talking to my mom about it, and she had mentioned that the owner of my bed frame, who was the mother of a family friend of ours, she'd passed away, and actually she looked similar to my mom, so I don't know if I saw her. I don't know what it was, but I didn't get a scary vibe from her, but I definitely saw someone sitting on my bed who had shoulder-length brown hair, and she was looking at me, so who knows what that was. And my last encounter at my cottage, at least so far, my family's up there all the time, and oh my god. My last encounter was since my cat passed away. So if you guys follow me on Snapchat way back in the day when I used Snapchat, you might know that my cat, his name was Honey, and he was a Maine Coon. He had beautiful blonde hair. He was so cute. I love him so much. He passed away, and I was in the city at the time, and we weren't sure when he was going to pass away. He had kidney disease, and we were going to like have to put him down because he was just suffering. It was awful. He was like basically living at our cottage full time at that point, so we didn't know when would be the right time. And I mean, this is not a story of putting him down, but either way, we put him down, and it was so upsetting, and I wasn't able to be there. And so I felt really bad about that. And the next time I was at my cottage, I was walking around, and I'm like, it's kind of weird that Honey's not here. And I was in my bedroom again, in the bathroom, because I've been joining bathroom, and I was brushing my teeth, and I felt him, Honey, walk between my legs, and he had a very, very long bushy tail, and whenever he did that, he did it all the time, like weaving between your legs. Cats do that. His tail would always brush against my leg, and I felt exactly that. Like, I wasn't even thinking of him in that moment. I was just getting ready for bed, and I was like if he was still alive, I would have been like, oh, like Honey's in the room, he just brushed up against my legs. And it was that exact feeling. And since it was the first time I've been at the cottage since he passed away, it seems like I don't know if it was like him saying goodbye or something. I don't know what it was, but we buried him at a cottage underneath a nice little tree, so I like to believe that was him. But who knows, maybe I just hadn't shaved my legs in a long time and the air blew by me and my leg hair blew in the wind. Who knows? But that just took a turn. So those are all the stories of my cottage, but I have one more that kind of, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm interested, I'm intrigued, but not scared at all. And this actually deals with my life in the city and the building that I'm in. But I also wanted to give a slight trigger warning because this deals with suicide. So if any of you guys are sensitive to that, you're definitely welcome to click off the video now. But now I'm gonna get into it. I've lived in this building for about 3 years, moved condos, moved units throughout that time, but I've lived in the same building. And about a year and a half ago, someone from another building across the street from mine jumped off the balcony and he committed suicide. And I don't know how I missed it. Like, I'm home all the time. Like, I work from home. Obviously, I live here. I never leave my condo. And we can debate about how healthy that is in another video. But he jumped off, and there was like screaming, like people around saw what happened and were screaming. I heard nothing. Everybody felt awful about it, and we have like a little community Facebook page and everybody was talking about it then. And so one night after going grocery shopping, I was walking by and I looked across the street to where it happened, and there were flowers there and everything. And I was looking at the spot and I'm just like, I feel so awful for him. I mean, that must have been so scary. And like feeling like you can't reach out, and depression is such a beast. I can only imagine what he was going through, and I felt so sincerely awful. And in that moment, I felt these arms like wrap around me, and I felt so much warmth and being like, it's okay. Like, don't worry about it. I'm completely fine now. Like, that is the exact sentiment and vibe that I got. And I'm like, okay. So it was just, it seemed like it was their way of telling me, like, as awful as it may have seemed, like, I'm happy with my decision. And I don't want to reach out to the family because I don't want to bring things up and make it worse. But it was very like reassuring, and it's just the whole sentiment that completely washed over my body that I wasn't expecting, that I wasn't triggering at all. So I found that very, very interesting. Trico! And lastly, actually, I remembered another one as I was telling that story. So this is a bit of a sad story, but the cousin that I was mentioning earlier, she actually passed away in a car accident, and she was like my younger sister, completely awful. If you guys want a story time about that and about dealing with loss and everything like that, let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to talk about it, but I do want to get permission from her mom first before I talk about it online. But we were at her, But this happened when we were at her, I guess, viewing at the funeral home, and it was a supremely awful time. But I was sitting in a chair, and I had two friends on either side. We were all talking, and I was like facing the casket, and we were talking about her, and I was thinking about her, and obviously it was awful. But in that moment, I felt two arms, specifically, like, she always had like nice, like thin, like lanky arms. So she was 5 years younger than me, so she was like a little sister. And I felt what felt exactly like her arms wrap around me and give me a squeeze. And it's weird when those kind of things happen to you. I wasn't waiting for it. I wasn't like, come on. Her name was Becky. I'm like, please, Becky, like, give me a sign, like, do something. I wasn't trying to like force it. I wasn't thinking about like wanting to hug her one last time again. It just completely caught me off guard. I'm like, what? I'm like, it felt exactly like she hugged me from behind. And that was a really, really kind of nice way to end things. The last time I talked to her, I told her that I loved her, and I'm not usually someone who says I love you. So something told me to do it, and I'm really, really happy I did. So I feel kind of, obviously it's awful that it happened, but it was kind of nice and comforting to feel like a hug from her one last time. There we go. Those are my paranormal stories. I wish I had more, but also at the same time I'm like terrified, so I don't know if I want more. But it's definitely something I've always been interested in, and I love watching paranormal story times on YouTube. I love Hailey Reese. If you guys don't know, I'll link her channel down below. Oh my god, I binge watched all of her videos in about like 3 weeks. She's amazing. And actually she went to an old prison that is turned into like a hotel kind of thing in Ottawa, because she's in Toronto as well, and I really kind of want to go. So if you guys want me to go and vlog it, I will do that. I might bring somebody along because I'm scared of doing that alone. But I definitely feel like if something is going to happen, there's a high chance of it happening to me. So I'm happy to experiment for your curiosity. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you liked this video. If you want more paranormal story times, or I don't know, anything like this, or if you have any story times that you would like me to talk about, like any themes like dating or awkward Uber trips I've been on, because everybody has stories like, oh my god, or anything like that, let me know in the comment section down below. And if you haven't yet checked out my Etsy store, this weekend I'm launching a new flavor and it is red velvet. It's so good. There's like a cream cheese flavored filling. Oh my god, so definitely head over. It's going to launch on Saturday, so keep an eye out for that if you're interested, and I will see you guys on Monday. Bye!